Welcome back to the Microsoft DP-600 Practice Questions series. Implementing Analytics Solutions using Microsoft Fabric. This is Episode 12. Moving to Deployment, Version Control, and Governance. Over the next 8 questions, we'll cover dynamic RLS functions, service identities, and the XMLA endpoint, Git, and version control, the PBIP project format, and deployment pipelines. Each question gives you 10 seconds. Let's begin. Question 1 of 8. You enable dynamic row-level security, RLS, for a semantic model and deploy it to the Fabric service. A measure that uses the username function returns a blank result. You need the measure to return the user principal name, UPN, of the signed-in user. What should you do? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. In the Fabric service, user principal name reliably returns the signed-in user's UPN, which is what dynamic RLS needs to filter rows. User object ID returns the Entra object ID, a GUID, not a UPN. Syncing objects in Entra Connect doesn't change what the function returns, and creating a role doesn't fix the function used in the measure. Question 2 of 8. A premium per user PPU workspace contains a semantic model. An Azure App Service app named App1 modifies RLS for the model through the XMLA endpoint and currently requires users to sign in with their Entra credentials. You need App1 to access the model by using a service account. What should you do first? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is D. To let App1 authenticate as a service instead of as interactive users, you first give App1 its own identity, add a managed identity to App1, which it then uses to connect to the XMLA endpoint. A workspace identity isn't the app's credential, and changing the XMLA setting or capacity type doesn't provide App1 a service account. Question 3 of 8. Workspace 1 is assigned to capacity 1 and contains a semantic model, Model 1. You need to publish changes to Model 1 directly from Tabular Editor. What should you do? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is D. Tabular Editor writes changes back through the XMLA endpoint, which is read-only by default. Setting the capacity's XMLA endpoint to read-write enables write-back so you can publish from Tabular Editor. Git integration, external sharing, and private endpoints don't enable XMLA write-back. Question 4 of 8. You need to connect Workspace 1 to the main branch of a GitHub repository named Repo1. Which information should you provide? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is B. Connecting a Fabric workspace to GitHub requires a GitHub Personal Access Token PAT for authentication together with the repository URL, plus branch and folder. SAS tokens and account keys are Azure storage credentials, not GitHub, and a workspace identity isn't used to authenticate the Git connection. Question 5 of 8. You use Power BI Desktop and Git integration to make version-controlled changes to a semantic model, which are built and deployed by using Azure pipelines. You need the report and semantic model definitions saved as individual text files in a folder hierarchy with minimal effort. Which file format should you use? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. The Power BI project PBIP format saves a report and its semantic model as human-readable text files in a folder structure, exactly what Git and Azure pipelines need for diffing and CI/CD. PBIX and PBIT are single binary files, and PBIDS only stores a data source connection. Question 6 of 8. Workspace 1 development and Workspace 2 production use different storage accounts. Workspace 1 has a Dataflow Gen 2 whose source is a CSV in blob storage. You implement a deployment pipeline from Workspace 1 to Workspace 2 and need the data source to reference the correct production location. What should you do? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. Deployment pipelines rebind environment-specific settings with rules. A data source rule repoints the connection to the production storage account, and a parameter rule updates the data flow's parameter values for that environment. Both are needed to fully switch the source, and manual edits defeat the automation. Question 7 of 8. Workspace DEV contains Lakehouse 1, Notebook 1, Pipeline 1, and Semantic Model 1. Workspace Test contains Lakehouse 2, Notebook 2, and Semantic Model 1. A deployment pipeline deploys DVTO test and pairs items with matching names. After you deploy Workspace DEV to Workspace Test, what will Workspace Test contain? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is A. Deployment creates the source items that don't yet exist in the target Lakehouse 1, Notebook 1, Pipeline 1, and updates the paired Semantic Model 1, but it does not delete target items that have no source match, so Lakehouse 2 and Notebook 2 stay. The result is the union of both Workspace's items. Question 8 of 8. Workspace 1 contains a data pipeline, Pipeline 1, and a Lakehouse, Lakehouse 1. You create Deploy Pipeline 1 to deploy items from Workspace 1 to Workspace 2, add a folder named Folder 1 to Workspace 1, move Lakehouse 1 into Folder 1, and then run Deploy Pipeline 1. Which structure will Workspace 2 have? Review the options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. Deployment pipelines carry over the source folder structure. Pipeline 1 stays at the workspace root, and because Lakehouse 1 was moved into Folder 1, it deploys into /folder 1 /Lakehouse 1 in Workspace 2. Items keep the folder placement they had in the source, and nothing is dropped. And that's all 8 questions on deployment, version control, and governance. How many did you get right out of 8? Let me know in the comments. Episode 13 covers PySpark, notebooks, and advanced topics. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and please like and share if this helped. See you in episode 13.